Good morning and welcome to this morning's free training session on how to discover the hidden talents of our youth. My name is TJ Dow. I am the Master Licence holder for Talent Dynamics for young people worldwide, and it really is a pleasure to be here with you this morning if you're listening live, or whatever time of day it is for you if you're here listening to the recorder. Welcome to joining me. I just want to say I apologise up front right now because we're using a new webinar platform. I'm still trying to get my head around it, and so it will be very much let me tell you and share some information with you. I'm not able to interact on a personal level today. I promise that I will get that fixed, ready for our next webinar. And today really is not a sales pitch. It really is a passion pitch from me. I absolutely am passionate about working with young people, and I'm guessing that's why you're here too. And so I really want to share some information with you that I believe could really make a difference to you individually, and of course the people that you get to work with and interact with, coach, train, whatever it is that you are doing in the work that you do. And then at the end, as you go through the training this morning, just noticing where can you use that in your own life, and where and how could you use that in your practices. And then the opportunity at the end to, if you want to find out more or just to explore opportunities and further information, how you can connect with me personally to do that, and we'll set up a call to do that. So let's move on to the training this morning, and I'd like to just share with you some of the challenges that our young people face. You're probably familiar with them already if that's the area of work that you're in. But the Daily Telegraph in April this year published that the hidden talent of 2.5 million young people has been wasted because they're on the dole, they're working part-time jobs, or in jobs for which they are overqualified. And we have this whole challenge, not just here in the UK, but worldwide. The biggest challenge our young people face is they have low confidence. They don't know their self-worth. So how can they share that with an employer? Or they have so many options and opportunities that they're confused about what career should be best for them, what direction should they go in. And so that amazing talent that every single young person has stays hidden because we never show them what their gifts and talents are and why they're so crucial for young people to live a happy, fulfilled life. We very often make our young people wrong for spending time on what they love to do, and they're being told that they must spend time on doing what often they find difficult, working on their weaknesses. I think we've all heard those instructions in our time. And so whilst working on the things that we find difficult to a point can be valuable just to get a basic level of skill in all areas, it can also be a point of knocking that young person's confidence because now they are struggling with it. It diminishes their self-worth if they don't feel good enough because they're finding it difficult and other people find it easy, and so gosh, it must be me. And so they don't know what's going on and they don't know what direction to take. I really empathise with that because I spent my whole life from the age of 4 years old totally and utterly believing that I was not good enough. And that belief caused me to have very little self-confidence, very low self-worth, and I settled for second best for a big chunk of my life. My whole life was a whole series of quite spectacular disasters as a result of that one belief. And I look at our young people today and I just say I cannot stand by looking into those mirrors and allow young people to go through what I went through. I left school at 16 because I didn't have the confidence to do the A-levels that I was told I should do. And so I settled for second best and took a job as a student pharmacy technician in the local hospital. That was not my dream. My dream was to be a teacher, particularly a sports teacher. And it's funny how all these years later we've come full circle, and now here I am teaching you what I'm passionate about. So we did an employer survey. We asked the employers locally where I live here in Swindon if we were to support young people to discover who they were so that they would be able to be more employable. For instance, hypothetically, if you were to sponsor those sorts of programs for young people, what would you want to see in return for your money for somebody being work ready? Unanimously, those employers said three things. We would like to see, number one, a young person who turns up to work looking as if they're coming to work. Number two, a young person who would turn up before time so that they would start on time. And number three, the biggest thing of all, we would love to have a young person sitting in front of us in an interview telling us exactly who they are, what their strengths are, and what they bring to the business as an employee. What's their value? We said we can do that. That's what we do. It seems to me that we are criticising young people for those things, but we've never actually taught them those things. And so for me, it's time to make amends, give them that gift of self-awareness and share with them what they're naturally gifted and talented at. And so I love Talent Dynamics for young people because it is a vehicle that can really, really support that. But what is Talent Dynamics for young people? I think one of the biggest challenges our young people face is trying to fit in. Do you know, even from 9 to 16 or 16 to 23, whatever age group you work with, we desperately at those ages want to fit in. But you're feeling like a square peg in a round hole, being pushed in one direction by parents maybe, pulled in another direction by teachers, shoved along by a careers officer maybe, still not knowing what you're supposed to do, where you fit in. You feel like a puppet on a string, but you don't know who's pulling the strings. If it feels uncomfortable and you feel you don't fit, I'm sorry, you're probably right. You're a square peg in a round hole. Sorry about that. What Talent Dynamics for Young People allows us to do is find out with that young person, where are they a round peg in a round hole? Where is it that they actually do naturally fit, so they can appreciate other people and why they're different, but they get to feel comfortable in their own skin. When you find out who you are, that is the greatest gift and boost of confidence that you can ever have. So finding where you fit in is finding where you add value. Where you add value is where you will be valued and therefore be rewarded for the value that you naturally give. So what a great gift, not only a boost in confidence and self-worth, but an opportunity to shine just for being who you naturally are. It's about helping young people to find their flow. Talent Dynamics for Young People believes that we all have a fundamental right to live our lives in flow. But what is flow? I wonder what flow means to you, what you're thinking about right now as you think about flow. Flow in terms of Talent Dynamics and what we want to help our young people to achieve is this. It's the path of least resistance. It's like a river that flows. When water flows from high ground to low ground, gravity plays its part. Yeah, it just flows. It doesn't matter, short of making a man-made dam to stop that flow, nothing will stop the flow of that water. If there's boulders in the way, it will go over it, under it, round it, through it, but that water will flow. It's like if you've ever played poo sticks when you were a kid and you drop your stick over the bridge. Does your stick look back at you from the water and go, really? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Do you know how fast or hard I'm going to have to swim now just even to stay where I am? Oh my gosh, that will be exhausting. It doesn't do that, does it? It plops in the water, you drop it on one side of the bridge, you run to the other side to see whose stick has come out first. And the stick, it just goes with the flow. When you're in flow, oh my gosh, it's like, have you ever been on a water slide? Yeah, you get in at the top, you let go, you whiz all the way down, you squeal with excitement as you plop into the water on the other end, and you just feel alive. It's exhilarating, and you say, oh my gosh, can I do it again? Let me do that all day. It's fun and it's easy when you're in flow. I'm wondering right now, as you're listening to me, what percentage right now in your life are you actually in flow, if you had to measure it on a scale from 1 to 100? Wouldn't it be awesome to be there 95% of the time? When you're in flow, you're doing what you love, loving what you do. It's what you're naturally gifted and talented at, whatever that might be, and it's different for us all. So when you're in flow, oh my gosh, time whizzes by. You know, have you ever been shouting that young person like half an hour for their dinner and they did not hear a single word because they were so laser focused, so engrossed in what they were doing that nothing else existed? It's like you're doing what makes your heart sing. When you're in that place of flow, you can't be stressed, you can't be depressed, and you can't be anxious because you're doing what you love and you're loving what you do. When you're in that place, it leaves you feeling alive and energized. It actually gives you energy. You could do that all day long and still want to do more of it, as opposed to those things that we have learned to do. And sometimes we learn to do them really, really well, but they take energy from you rather than give it to you. So you do it all day and you get to the end of the day and you go, oh, thank goodness that's over. Can I do something that makes my heart sing now? So that is that place of flow. When you're in flow, productivity goes up, accuracy goes up, efficiencies go up. You're not clock watching because time just disappears. You're doing what you want to do all day long. And I wonder, when you're thinking about how I'm describing that, when are you naturally in flow? In that place of, oh my gosh, I feel so alive when I do that. For me, most definitely when I'm training, when I'm coaching, when I'm working with young people and I just aren't allowed to just go with my flow and get into my gift. So what is flow for you? Maybe you could just jot a few notes as you're thinking about it, or write down the question to come back to later. But also, what are your blocks to flow? What are those things in your life, or the lives of the young people that you work with, that are really frustrating? When you think of it, oh my gosh, do I have to? I'd rather go and tidy my bedroom than go and do that thing. What are those things that are frustrating? You feel like the pressure is building up behind you and you don't sort it out, you're going to explode. Sometimes when our flow is blocked, we just kind of feel as if we've run aground. We can't move forward. It is exhausting and it's frustrating. So what a great gift to be able to share with you right now, but also for you to take and be able to share with young people, to unblock those blocks so that they can lead a happy, fulfilled life, reaching their potential because they're in flow. So talent dynamics for young people. Originally, Talent Dynamics is a business development pathway, an awesome business development pathway. And it makes me smile because we like to think that all this personal development and business development stuff is something that is like really brand new. And actually, in fact, it began 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, the Chinese emperors and scholars had something called the Book of Change, the I Ching. It was a book that they lived their life by, following the energies and the elements and the seasons and all of the things that allowed them to live in flow, to live happy, fulfilled lives for them. And that's really where Talent Dynamics has its roots, a little bit like a lot of the psychometric profiling systems also do. But what I love about Talent Dynamics, and Talent Dynamics for young people particularly, is it's the so what. I don't know about you, but like me, you've probably done lots of psychometric profiles in your time, maybe MBTI, DISC, Insights, etc. And they're all great tools. But for me, I got this great report back that said, oh, these are all the things about you. And I could recognize myself in them, but it's like, well, I've read that now, so what? How do I apply this? I don't know what to do with it. And Talent Dynamics has the so what. It has the, and so this is what it means to you in your life and how you can practically apply it. And that's really exciting for me with the clients that I work with. So Talent Dynamics for young people is based on 5 energies. You can see 4 energies there, and I'll explain the 5th one for you as well. And they can see that they have elements and seasons that are associated with them too. Now, the one that you can't see there is right. It would be right in the centre of that logo there, and it would be spirit energy. And spirit energy is about flow. It's about transition, and so its element would be water, so that we can easily be in flow and flow around the energies and recognise where we need to be at any one time. So as I taught you ever so quickly through the energies to begin with, think about which energy is most like you. We all have a blend of energies, so it really isn't a labelling tool, but you probably have one core energy that is most like you, and then you'll spot some of the energies in you as well. And that's what the blend of the energies is what makes us special and unique. Maybe think about some of the people around you or the people that you work with and what are their core energies also. So let's start with dynamo energy. Dynamo energy, if it had an element, it would be wood. It is almost like sowing the seeds that we're going to nurture. It's springtime. So dynamo energy is all about new life, new birth, new ideas, new creations, innovation. It's very high energy and it's very fast-paced and it's big picture thinking. People with a lot of dynamo energy run 1,000,000 miles an hour, are massively creative and visionary, very optimistic, and they are exciting and inspiring to be around. But let's explore some of the other energies as well, because the seasons change. So I wonder if you have high dynamo energy, or maybe you're much more of a summer person. Maybe you're blaze energy. Blaze energy, if it had an element, its element would be fire. Blaze energy is about summertime. Blaze energy is warm, it's passionate, it's friendly, it loves to be around people. People with a lot of blaze energy are definitely people. It's like, you know, it's a bit of SpongeBob SquarePants there, going to the beach with his mates for a barbecue and hang out and just enjoy company all day long. People with a lot of blaze energy not only love to be around people, but they're very colourful and they love a lot of variety. And the worst place you could put somebody with a lot of high blaze energy would be all by themselves for any length of time, doing things that are very repetitious. That would drive them crazy. So I wonder if you have a lot of blaze energy and you love to be around people, supporting people. Or maybe, as the seasons change again and the pace slows down a little bit, maybe you're someone who is more tempo energy. Tempo energy is very grounded. Its season would be autumn, its element would be earth. The opposite to dynamo energy, we're slowing down a little bit more now and considering and planning and noticing what's going on around. Dynamo energy, the opposite there is like being in a helicopter, having this great overview of a city, no detail, just big picture. Tempo energy, we're not up in the clouds, we're down on the ground walking these pavements, ear to the ground, you know, walking the streets, you can see into the shop windows, you can wave to the people in the cars, you're noticing the detail that dynamo energy would miss. Tempo energy is about being in the right place at the right time, maximizing opportunities. People with a lot of tempo energy are really sensory based, navigating the world using their senses to notice what's going on and when is just the right time. And they massively care about service and serving people. So I wonder if that's you, or you know somebody around that is much more that grounded tempo energy, seems believing, the mind head in the clouds. Or maybe as the seasons change again, maybe you have more steel energy. Steel energy, its season is winter, its element would be metal. Certainly not because people with steel energy are cold and hard, absolutely not. But people with a lot of steel energy need a lot of structure, they need certainty, they need to feel in control of their world. And so very often they're very data and systems focused. So somebody with a lot of steel energy will look back at that harvest in the autumn and say, okay, so how did we do? Give me the facts, give me the figures, give me the data, give me the details. Have you analysed it yet? Let's put it into a system. How are we going to maximise that for next year? Did we come in and budget? What's the profit and loss account? And so they will want to know all of those facts and figures to give them some certainty around it. They're not going to be spontaneous, and they're not going to do things on a whim. They're going to want to make sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and the boxes are ticked before they move on. Blaze energy, the opposite, is all about people. Blaze energy, very extrovert, likes to be out there, shows up in terms of being very external in the way that it needs to be validated and the way that it makes decisions. They have to ask other people's opinion to hear what they think before they'll make their minds up. Whereas steel energy, completely opposite, much more introvert in its action dynamic, much more happy to be by themselves. They're more comfortable one-on-one than one-to-many. And they don't need to go and ask people's opinions because they're very self-assured. They go inside to make their decision. I've got the facts, the figures and the details. And so, well, the facts don't lie, so why would I need somebody else's opinion? I can make my own mind up. Thank you very much. So I just wonder if you have more steel energy or you recognise somebody who has a lot of steel energy. And how easy would it be for us to misunderstand each other when we have opposite energies, and wondering why that person doesn't understand who we are or what we need. It's a great opportunity to start to understand people and really get inside their world. So talent dynamics for young people, it's a path, it's not a label. It's allowing us to help young people to find their flow, identifying their natural talents, helping them to understand who they are, where they fit in and why they might be different, but not less than someone else. It's certainly not an excuse not to do things, because we all have to do those things, but it's an understanding of why we find some things easier than others. And so allowing them to really gain some vision and direction in their lives. And talent dynamics, although it has 5 energies, it has 8 different profiles, which would be a blend of those energies as we go around the talent dynamics square. So I'd like to share with you each of those profiles so that you get a real feel for what's great about that person and what might they struggle with. Why might they find a way to absolutely shine, and why sometimes if they don't have the insight and the confidence, could it be really easy to put themselves down? We often get made wrong for what is our very greatest gift. So this is an opportunity to give people permission to be exactly who they are. So let's start in dynamo energy with the creator profile. See if this is you or somebody you know. Creators full of dynamo energy, running 1,000,000 miles an hour, really fast-paced. They are very innovative and very intuitive, so they will have lots of ideas, and that could show up in lots of ways. It could be as the inventor, or it could be new ideas for businesses, it could be creative writing, it could be music, it could be all sorts of things. But they just have lots and lots of ideas. They have great imagination. They're very visionary. They often are great at multitasking. That's because they're so impatient they can't wait for one thing to finish before they've started the next, and that can be a challenge because they're great at starting. They can be rubbish at finishing things. Have their head in the clouds, daydreaming away, seeing the future, great at strategic planning and thinking, massively brilliant at having an overview and perspective of things, and being able to inspire people to catch that vision with them as well. However, they do have very high expectations of themselves and of other people, and so it's easy to see how a creator could have a great idea, inspire people, run off 1,000,000 miles an hour, all of a sudden stop and turn around and wonder why everybody is. Come on guys, where are you? And then, oh for goodness sakes, I could do it faster and better myself. And so often they will be overwhelmed by not delegating things to people. But creators are massively optimistic and will always see the best in things. So I wonder if that's you. Are you a creator with your head in the clouds? Or maybe that is somebody in your family, perhaps. Or maybe you're a star. Oh, Actually, before we go on to Star, let me just tell you about a creator that I worked with. I'll just give you an example of how this is amazing with young people. A creator called Fabia. Fabia was just about to start her year at school where they do the SATs. So she'd had her SATs predictions, and she was predicted to do really well in most subjects apart from maths. Bless her little heart. She wasn't rubbish at maths, but it wasn't her forte. And so when she was profiled, she came out a creator, and her mum decided to do the best she could and hired a tutor for Fabia. The tutor got to see that Fabia was a creator and got to understand how she learned best. And so instead of doing maths in her head, this is this, and divide by that, and what's the answer, they used her creativity and her imagination to turn maths into pictures and stories. So they went to theme parks and roller coasters and had crowds that paid so much, and how many rides was that, and really brought it alive in pictures. In 1 year, when she took her SATs, because of the way that that made a difference, from her predicted grade to her actual grade went up 4 points. I just think that's amazing. So let me move on to the Star. Star profiles love to be in the spotlight. They have a mix of dynamo and blaze energy, so they love to be around people. They are very influential, very engaging. They can hold an audience. Stars are best when they can shine the light on other people and things, though. So we had a young man named Sam. Sam worked in a warehouse. He came for his Talent Dynamics coaching session. He was turned up late. He slumped in his seat. He really didn't look much like a star. He worked in a warehouse all by himself. That was not good for somebody with high blaze energy as well. And he was really miserable. He was in danger of losing his job because he doesn't like being there by himself all the time, but he did need the job. It turned out that he wanted the money because he absolutely loved and adored motorbikes. When we talked to him about motorbikes, all of a sudden he became alive. He sat up in his chair and he got really excited because he had this dream bike in mind that he was going to buy, and he knew exactly how much he needed to save every week and which date he could go and buy his motorbike. So we said to Sam, how would it be? As a Star profile, you're really great at promoting things, shining the light on other people's products and services. You are very engaging and you love to be with people. Star profiles make great salespeople. How would it be if you could, imagine this, you got up every morning and you went to work and all you did was talk about what you love? One of the most phenomenal jobs that you could do would be a motorbike salesperson. That is totally where you could add value. He bounced back out of that room. Having slumped into the room, he bounced back out like a tiger. It was so lovely to see that star come to life. I wonder what stars are around you who are not shining in the way that they should right now. Or maybe you're a supporter. Are you a supporter? Supporters are people. Massively blaze energy. They love to talk, they love to listen, but they're great at bringing the team together. Supporters make the best managers of people. All the profiles can be great leaders, but supporters are great cheerleaders. They will bring the right people onto their team. They will lead a team, they will follow a team, they love to be in a team. They will see the potential of people and encourage it and cheerlead that potential to fruition. They love to talk. So often as somebody with high blaze energy, a supporter could be the one in class or at college that gets told off all the time for talking. They love to listen though also, and they just love to spend their time around people all the time. The worst place you can put a supporter is in the back office, all by themselves, entering data, doing repetition and admin tasks, get them out where they're going to add value. They're not soft and woolly though, because if the team isn't right, they will get rid of the person that's not right for the team. It's all about the team. Moving around the square, we come to deal maker. Deal makers have a blend of blaze energy and tempo energy. So Deal makers love to be around people and connect with people, but in a different way slightly to supporters and stars. Deal makers are approachable, they're entertaining, they can often be very mischievous, and they're all about the people they know. When you meet a deal maker, they'll want to interview you to find out all about you so that they can put you in touch with the right person at the right time. Deal makers, one of the challenges a deal maker has is that often they can find themselves in the middle of a conflict, not because they cause the conflict, but because they have a sense of fairness and justice and wanting people to get along together and everything to be harmonious. So deal makers are great at conflict resolution. They make great peacekeepers, they make great negotiators, they make great negotiators in terms that they will always want to get the bargain and they will always want to negotiate a win-win. So deal makers, unfortunately though, sometimes can spend so much time trying to make other people's lives better and connect people to the right people and make things right that they can put themselves last. So if you know a deal maker, make sure that they are not missing out on opportunities because they're giving them all away to other people. A deal maker often will have so many contacts and connections. They'll be the one with thousands of followers on Twitter and Facebook and have 2 phones, one for business and one for family and friends. Moving around totally into tempo energy, we have the trader. Now it's easy to get hung up on some of the names of the profiles, but I just invite you to listen to the qualities of a trader instead. Traders are very sensory based. Traders are about being in the right place at the right time to maximize an opportunity. They very often will sense when the time is right rather than have a system that they followed or evidence that they know it is. They just have a twitch in their back or a feeling in their water, so to speak, that now is the time. Traders are great at customer service. They really care about people. Whereas supporters are people and they bring a great team together, they'll know their team members' names, but a trader will know who you are, who your mum and dad is, who your brothers and sisters are, what your guinea pig's name is, have you got a pet goldfish, where did you go on holiday for the last 5 years? They will nurture long-term relationships. They're really great at planning and following through, making sure that you feel really looked after. So they will give 5-star customer service and customer care. A trader has this sense of fairness, and they will want to know that everybody's being treated fairly. And they're the doers, where the dynamo energy and the creators will start things and then they'll come on to the next thing and never finish. It's the traders who will implement those things. Emily, I met a young lady named Emily recently who was a trader. Emily had a dream that she wanted to work in childcare. She said to me, I'm not academically gifted, but I love working with children. She had a baby brother. Her baby brother was 5 years old and she loved bringing him up. And she got her dream job in a nursery. Unfortunately, there was an incident that happened. It was a near miss. It wasn't a reality. It could have been tragic, but it wasn't. And yet Emily's boss chose to see everything on the negative side. She bullied Emily so much that in the end Emily gave her a notice, and it didn't stop there. The bullying continued such that Emily lost a second job and lost the college course that she was doing. And she came to me, she literally was shaking and in tears. She said, all my life I've wanted to do childcare and now I don't know whether I'm even good enough to do that. As a trader profile, we talked through her profile. She absolutely recognised herself in it. And after an hour-long conversation, I just watched her grow as she discovered what her natural strengths and talents were. And I said to her, Emily, I can't tell you that you should work in childcare, but what I can tell you as a trader profile is you need to work caring for people. That could be care of the elderly, it could be social care, it could be care of children, but it also might be looking after people in a restaurant, giving them the best customer care in a coffee shop, or maybe in retail, or wherever that service is for you. So I don't know what your decision will be, but do something where you're in flow and you're actually in the doing with people, making a difference. She emailed me a week later saying that she felt so much better. For the first time, she felt that she could be herself and she was just enrolling on a new college course to give herself some more opportunities within within the social care environment. So that had a happy ending, and it was beautiful to see her step into her own skin and be comfortable in her own skin and stop comparing herself to other people, because one of the challenges of a trader is not only are they sensory based but sensitive. So a trader profile will say yes when they need to say no, and she did just that, and then they get overwhelmed and they're regretting the decisions, and now they're like, oh, I wish I hadn't said that, and they're beating themselves up. They say yes instead of no because they're scared of what other people might think. They think they might feel badly about them or think badly of them, and it's usually not the case. So watch out for those people who say yes too often and become stressed by it. What a great way to help somebody. So moving around one more time to the accumulator profile. Now, accumulators are a mix of tempo energy, timing, and steel energy systems. So accumulators are great at making sure the right system is put in place by the right people at the right time. Accumulators have this wonderful skill. Their greatest gift is being able to identify a problem and solve it before it becomes real. How awesome is that? Unfortunately for our accumulators, though, often that's seen as being negative. You know, the creators have had this great idea and the stars are shining light on it and the supporters are cheering it along, and it's the accumulator, bless them, that says, whoa, 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 stop right there. Did you think about such and such? Because in the past, this has happened. And it sounds really glass half empty, but what they're doing is saying, listen, I've done the research. Accumulators are much more on the introvert side, and they will only speak up if they're absolutely sure of what they're saying. So if an accumulator comes along and says, do you know what, don't have that barbecue at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon because it's going to rain. Take your umbrella or cancel it because it is going to rain. And if you don't listen to them and you talk over them, they will shuttle off back to their office or bedroom or wherever that might be, having their feelings hurt, confidence knocked, but they'll just wait there until you say, oh, I was wrong, you were right, and they'll be thinking, told you so. Accumulators are organised and they're reliable. They have to have structure. They're not good at winging stuff, and they need to be able to plan. But they will always give you a balanced view. What a great person to have on your team to make sure that you don't make a mistake before it happens. And they love structure, but they don't like chaos. Although they do collect a lot of clutter, and that's usually stuff that they've researched or looked into in the past and they don't want to throw it away because it might be useful at some time. So if you want to find something that you've talked about 5 years ago, the accumulator has probably still got it. Moving around from accumulator into Lord profile. The Lord profile having their core energy in steel. Lord profiles need to feel as if they're in control of their lives, have all the I's dotted, the T's crossed, all the boxes ticked before they will move on. They're not going to do something on a whim, not going to be spontaneous. They like detail. Give me the detail, 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 and then please give me some more detail. And they love things to be structured, organised, and in a system. A Lord profile will absolutely find that last penny for you. And they will also be the ones that are good at building their worth through making sure that everything is done wisely. They will look after the numbers, they will look after the pennies. They love information, they love graphs, and they love systems, and they love spreadsheets. They're happy to be by themselves. They are comfortable in their own skins by themselves. And this is the interesting thing, how sometimes we can be made wrong for what is actually our greatest gift. I got a telephone call from a mum who had been referred to me. She said, TJ, I'm hoping that you can help. My daughter is 15 years old, and I'm really, really concerned about her right now. She spends so much time by herself or just one friend, and her friend have self-diagnosed that they have social anxiety disorder. She's already starting to break my heart, right? So I asked some more questions. And she said, I'm really concerned that they may still start to self-harm. Other children in the school are doing that. I'm really worried about her. I've been to the doctor. The doctor is going to refer her to a counsellor and perhaps a psychologist, but it's going to take at least 6 weeks. Can you help? I said, of course I can. Knowing and thinking in my mind, I wonder if she has a lot of steel energy. Sure enough, she takes a profile. She is a lord. And to be able to watch the interaction, the dynamics between the Lord introvert profile hiding behind her fringe as we have a conversation. Her mum, bubbly, loves to talk, loves to listen, probably very high blaze energy. Actually, it was mum that didn't understand why her daughter wanted to be by herself. At 15, why wasn't she out more, starting to go out to parties and mix with more friends and have a social life? Because that was her model of her world. She's trying to project on this young lady who is much more comfortable by herself, getting stressed that she has to be in those environments. Did she have social anxiety disorder? No, absolutely not. She just had very high steel energy. Could she easily have been labelled, put on medication, live with that for the rest of her life? Yes, she could. To look that young lady in her eyes and tell her, listen, you are not broken, and watch that reaction, for her to know that it's okay to be who she is, was just wonderful. To watch her smile for the first time in that whole hour, wow, what a gift. How different will her life now be, that she can move on, and that her mum was there and she now understands it. She's not forcing her into an environment where she feels out of place. So Lord profiles, they will go and socialise if there's a purpose to it, but don't force them because it's really stressful for them. And our final profile is the mechanic. Now, sometimes, particularly like young girls, get a bit stressed if they come out of a mechanic. It's like, really? Aren't mechanics those like dirty, oily, greasy jobs that like you have to get under the bonnet of a car? Forget the name for a moment. Mechanic profiles have this great blend of steel energy and dynamo energy, where the creators or the starters are mechanics, are the finishers and the fixers. They have this fantastic ability to lift the bonnet on a project or within a team or a hobby or your business. Take a peek inside, see what's there, and know exactly how to fix it. They can spot what's wrong with it really easily. And what they love to do more than anything, though, is to tinker with it. It's a mechanic that will need to tweak it. Add a bit here, take away a bit there, take it apart, put it back together in a different way to make it even better, even more efficient. They'll be the ones that want to make it into a system and automate it so it's even better for the future. The challenge, though, mechanics have such high expectations of themselves that they are perfectionists. They will blow your timing to make sure that it's perfect. Those will be the young people that are late handing their homework in because it's just not perfect yet, or their project at work. This would be the young person who's doing the most beautiful drawing, but the second that that colour goes out of the lines, it's ripped up, screwed up, thrown in the bin, they storm off in a tantrum, but then they have to start again. Who do you know like that? I'm laughing because I have a daughter like that, which she certainly was when she was small. So they will always be tinkering with it. They have this great ability. They can create, but they're much better when they have something there to work on. It's like, would you go to the garage without your car? Show them the car and they can fix it and make it even better. Show them the system or the project or the book or the whatever it is, and a mechanic will make it even better. I love this interaction that I had with a mechanic who came on our Work Ready program. Erin was 19 years old. We got them to interview each other at the beginning of the program to introduce who is the person next to you, one strength, one thing that challenges them, and why are they here on a Work Ready program. Erin was introduced as, this is Erin. She has no strengths. She has no confidence. She doesn't have any qualifications, and she's here because she really doesn't know what she has to offer. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that? That's heartbreaking. And as we went through the profile, she turned out to be a mechanic profile. 4 hours later, having explored what does that actually mean to you, I said to Erin, now you know who you really are. What what do you, if I was interviewing you right now, what value do you bring to me as an employer? She said, well, if I was to come and work for you, I would do anything that you asked me to do to the very highest standard. She said, I will do my very best to make anything that you give me even better. I'm a perfectionist. She said, but I'm also a finisher. Whatever you give me to do, I will finish. I will not stop until that project, that piece of work is completed. That's the value that I will bring to your business. We just looked at her, was like, wow, that's very different than the Erin 4 hours ago that had no clue even what she had to offer. So this is the gift that that insight brings, exposing those hidden talents so that our young people can find roles that are right for them, careers that are right for them, jobs that are right for them, courses that are right for them, that they get to give their gift and live in flow. How awesome is that? And you can see that each of the profiles has its strengths, each of the things that has those things that will challenge them, that they're not naturally talented and gifted at, that will take them out of flow. No, it's not an excuse not to do those things, but a recognition of why they might find it more difficult. In that case, you've either got to take a deep breath, get in, get on with it, get out and reward yourself, get back in flow, or you find somebody who loves to do that thing that you're not good at, give them the gift of being in flow. That's what makes teams work. And talent dynamics for young people very much allows those people, those profiles, to find out where do they best deliver as a leader or within a team too. So I don't know which one you are. I wonder if you spotted yourself in that. It's amazing how when you discover who you really are and you start to step into that profile and into that flow, just how different life can be. So many people have said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel as if I've been given permission to be me. And so many people have said, oh my gosh, I wish I had this when I was young. Yep, me too. That it is just so fabulous to be able now to give this gift to this generation. So let me ever so quickly cover some of the other layers that talent dynamics for young people has. In terms of each of the energies has its preferred communication or learning style. A dynamo energy, massively visual, head in the clouds, visionary, having a great imagination, big picture thinking, stands to reason, isn't it? So if you're working with somebody who is dynamo energy as their core energy, then they need to see things. They need it for it to be colourful. They need to have pictures, mind maps, all of those things to turn that communication into something that they can understand, appreciate and absorb and communicate back out as well. How many times I've had young people in front of me that are about to be expelled from school because they keep drifting off and daydreaming, not paying attention in class. Maybe the teacher is talking a lot and there is nothing to look at, and then something catches their eye out the window and it's far more interesting, isn't it? Before you know it, they've drifted outside the window, they're thinking about something else and they're told off yet again. But let's stop making them wrong for their gift of being very visual in their communication and use it a little like Fabia to help them to learn the things that they find more difficult, or to help them to understand how to communicate with other people who are not so visual. Blaze energy, love to talk, love to listen, people. Gosh, of course they're going to be auditory. They need people to act as a sounding board. They learn best and communicate best in a classroom or in a workplace when they can ask questions, they can discuss things, they can talk about it. If somebody just shows them pictures or asks them to just get on with it, then they can't do that because they haven't had time to talk about it properly yet. Or tempo energy. Tempo energy is about implementing. They are the doers. They have kinesthetic energy, usually as their learning and communication preference style. So for a trader or a deal maker or an accumulator, for example, you can show them how to bake a cake. You can tell them how to bake a cake, but they do not know really how to bake a cake until they've experienced it. They're in there doing, seeing's believing, let me get in there hands-on and feel how it feels to experience that thing. Then I understand. So they're much more kinesthetic. They need practical exercises. They need not just to see things, but to touch them and feel them as well. I wonder how many times, both at school and college and in the workplace, we're telling people to do things or we're showing them, but they don't actually get the chance to have a run through first. Or those people who have a lot of steel energy tend to be very auditory digital in the way that they communicate and learn best. Auditory digital meaning that they need to make sense of it. It needs to be rational, logical. They need to be able to work it out for themselves. That's why they will go away and they will do their research and they want all the details to understand it. If you have somebody who's very auditory digital, then often when you ask them to share something, they can give you too much detail. Now, for somebody with dynamo energy, that's a bit exhausting. It's like, give me a big picture, don't give me the detail. Steel energies, give me the detail. I don't want the big picture. They need to know the minutiae sometimes. So if you can give them the opportunity to go away and do some extra reading, go and research it for themselves, give them some problems to work out and solve, then they absolutely will be in their element. So it's interesting how sharing that, even just like those 4 learning preference, communication preference styles with the young people could really change their experience of the world. Not being made wrong for the way that they communicate and learn best, but being able to understand other people and use that knowledge to adapt themselves in an environment so that they can get the most out of it and keep those other people in flow as well. Other things that dovetail into talent, I love talent dynamics, layers upon layers upon layers, and in this small training session, gosh, I can only give you the tip of the iceberg. But if you've ever been around the Anthony Robbins environment, you may have come across something called 6 human needs, and it's interesting to me to see how they are layered over the talent dynamics square as well. And if you are not familiar with the 6 human needs, then please, and you would like to find out more, please do get in touch with me because I can share lots of information about them with you. But it's great to notice what is your top need. People will violate their own standards to meet a need. One of the presuppositions of NLP, people are not their behaviours. Their behaviour is a symptom of an unmet need underlying that. And so needs are not nice to have. So absolutely, I must meet this need or I will die. And so you can meet that need with a positive behaviour, or you can meet that need. Dynamo energy tends to have a high need for significance and freedom to be who they are, freedom to innovate and create and run a million miles an hour. Freedom and significance and achievement is really important to them, and they need to be recognised for that. Blaze energy loves variety. That's why if you put them by themselves doing a lot of repetitious work, oh my gosh, they will be so stressed. They love to go and meet lots of people and go to lots of places and have lots of variety in their lives. Tempo energy. Tempo energy with that kinesthetic learning and communication preference. Top need, love and connection. Connection with each other, connection with other people, nurturing relationships, long-term relationships, connection with animals, connection with nature, very often spiritual connections in their grounded sensory energy. Steel energy, certainty driven, need to dot the I's, cross the T's, tick the boxes, need to feel in control of their world. And then in the centre of it all, back to spirit energy, where we all need to learn and grow, otherwise we just stagnate and die, right? And have a need to contribute, do something outside of ourselves, leave a legacy in some way. And then, interestingly, each of the energies also has a key question that it asks. And I haven't got time to go into detail with the questions, which, oh my gosh, I could do a whole session on that because it is mind-blowing when you get to feel the application of that for yourselves. But spirit energy, its natural question is why, because it's about purpose. So why could be anything. Why are you here listening to me right now? Why do you do the work that you do? Why do you eat the way that you do? Exercise the way that you do? Why are you here on this planet? Great place to come back to if you're stuck. Why am I doing this thing? Dynamo energy is all about the what. What do I need to create? What ideas do I need to have? What problem do I need to solve? What? Whereas Blaze Energy, people, they're all about the who. Who do I need on my team? Who can show me how to do this? Who can mentor me? Who can I coach? It's all about the who can I spend time with? Who's my customer? Tempo Energy, being in the right place at the right time will usually be asking where and when. Where do I need to be and when do I need to be there? It's very much about timing, and they're very time driven. Whereas Steel Energy just needs to know how. So how do you do that? How do you systematize that? How does that work? Very logical. And the questions flow like seasons in a certain order. So if you have massive dynamo energy, your natural question is what, and somebody asks you how, that's a really hard question to ask because you're going against the flow. You're going against the seasons. A how question will feel frustrating. It will be a block. But a what question or a who question, well, that's much easier to answer. So notice what is your natural question. Which questions empower you and which ones frustrate you? And just notice which way you need to ask the questions in future. Try them out. If you're asking a what question and it doesn't fit, maybe you need to ask a who or a where and when. To play with those, they're really great tools to have in your kit, and they're really great questions that unblock flow as well, but we don't have time to go into that right now. So what I did want to share with you, just as we start to come to a close now, is if that was of value to you and you'd like to find out more for yourself, then you can go to the website there, backontrackteens.com, and take a profile. The system begins with an online profile test. And so you can sign up there for that online. The profile itself costs £50, and it takes about between 10 and 20 minutes to do, depending on your profile. When you go and do that, make sure that you answer it from a place of who you really are, not what you've learned to be or aspire to be or think you should be, but who you really are, and it'll come back instantly. We'll give you your profile. And remember, you are not that profile until you can tell me, oh my gosh, that's so me. That will show you then where you best fit and how you're best able to get into flow. If you wanted to go even deeper into that and get some real deep insights on how you can apply that and what that means to you personally in the work that you do and in your personal life, then a debrief can be arranged with you. Normally a debrief for young people is £120, and that takes about an hour to 90 minutes, and that's one-on-one. That would be with me. And you if you would like to go ahead and do that, gosh, that would be my pleasure. And so I'd like to offer you that opportunity at £60 instead of £120. If you want to email me at tj@backontrackteens.com, you can see that there, and put in the message hidden talent. I'll know you've been listening to this webinar, and I'll arrange that special offer price for you. We can do it either in person if you're local, or we can do it over the phone, or we can do it by Skype wherever you are in the world, whatever your time zone is. So that is no object whatsoever. I'd also like to share with you, just in terms of it being a personal development pathway, not just for our young people, but maybe for you as a coach or a trainer or a youth worker or whatever area it is that you work in. It's a pathway in terms of using your passion and your skills at whatever level you would like to do for you. So we have flow consultants. Flow consultants are trained to have a really good in-depth knowledge of the profiles and to be able to do the one-on-one coaching sessions. Flow consultant training is a 2-day training, and that can be done either, again, face-to-face, it can be done over Skype, and so it can be done wherever you are, either in a group session or individually. Performance consultants, if you wanted to step up and thinking of it a little bit more in the future, to run not only coaching sessions but workshops. We teach our performance consultants all of the modules and the skills and give them the experience of going through those modules to apply it to their own life so that they can take them and fit them together in any particular order depending on where you're going to use them. That's where our Work Ready programs comes from. But you can adapt it to programs in schools or programs in sports coaching. We work with eating disorder clinics and all sorts of different environments that you can take and adapt it. We'll give you all the resources, all the modules, all the marketing materials, everything that you need, like a business in a box, to go and rock with that. Performance consultant training is one-on-one. You would have to come over and have the pleasure of meeting me, I'm afraid. I would have the pleasure of meeting you to spend 3 really great days together, giving you all that skills and knowledge. Or you might find that you want to become a master trainer. Maybe you would like to teach your own flow consultants to be able to coach using this program, and we can give you the opportunity to do that as well. Or to step up even higher and to become a master trainer, a master license holder, and to be able to train all of those levels. So it's wherever you want to grow your business or your team. We're running Work Ready programs. We launched in the UK this year, and we're just about to launch in Australia. Heidi over in Denmark is running programs over there as well. You can absolutely have that program to take wherever you are in the world and deliver it and make a difference to young people in terms of employability, self-awareness, knowing what to say to an employer, ticking those boxes of that research we did. What's mine is yours when you come and train with us. I'm happy to share everything. So a really great addition to coaching and training skills or work that you do with organisations. And it isn't, talent dynamics for young people, you have to do it this way. It can integrate so beautifully into everything else that you've learned and that you do as well. So if you would like to find out any more about any of those, as I said earlier, this is not a sales pitch, this is a passion pitch. Now, I absolutely live and breathe and even dream talent dynamics and working with young people, and I teach in my sleep. Do I wake up exhausted some mornings because I've taught 4 classes all night long? If you would like to schedule a chat, be that on the telephone or in person or via Skype, to really explore options and opportunities, if you really can see how you can take this and use this, then, oh my gosh, that would be my pleasure to book those appointments with you. Just get in touch with me. You can see my email address there, tj@backontrackteens.com. And let's organise something sooner rather than later. And there's no commitment in that. It just might be that you want to find out more. It's not a commitment to sign up to anything, but I'd love to share even more and have the opportunity that I haven't had today to answer the questions that might have come up as you've been listening to me talking about this today. So my time has come to an end here with you this morning. Gosh, time flies, doesn't it? That was me and Flo. And it's been my pleasure to share this information with you. Please do listen back to the recording. I'll send that out to you as a thank you. And please feel free to share the recording with other people as well. And if you didn't take up the offer of downloading a copy of my book, then please do that too. It's absolutely free. It is the whole book, not just a chapter, and a great tool also to share some of the exercises in there with young people. So thank you so much for being here, spending this hour with me. I hope that we get to connect in the future, and in the meantime, have the most wonder-filled week ahead. Thanks. Bye-bye.